We have arrived at Phase 3 of User Experience Applied Research and Design project. Phase 3 of the User Experience Applied Research and Design project consists of developing the design concept to the point that it is ready to be tested with users. The main steps of Phase 3 include the creation of wireframes, the creation of lo-fi paper prototype, and the design of a user test. The lo-fi paper prototype simply prepares the project to proceed to the user test. However, the user test still needs to be designed. Only after the design of the user test can the project move to actual testing, which we will do in Phase 4. So the first step will involve creating wireframes. Step 1 involves creating the wireframes. From a design perspective, you want to avoid aesthetic enhancement or graphic illustrations. You want to focus on the presence of key information that is required and on the navigation structure. In regards to the tools to make the designs, you want to create the wireframes with a digital prototyping tool such as Sketch. They can also be created with a drawing program or even pencil and paper. Whatever method is used, the key is to avoid refined design details in the low-fidelity wireframes. This will ensure that users are not preoccupied thinking about the illustrative qualities of the design or the low-level details, but instead offer high-level comments. The system to be designed may be sufficiently sizable enough that it may not be possible to create all the different possible combinations of wireframes. For this reason, it is best to design the wireframes for the most frequently accessed pages, or the main displays. The UX professional needs to create the main wireframes and the main navigation flows. Approximately 4 to 6 different navigation sequences will be sufficient in many instances. The wireframes and the navigation flows created should also be used later on in a report to make clear the advancement of the design. As part of Step 2, we will discuss paper prototypes. To create a user test, you will first need to create a physical prototype. The prototype can be created either by sketching it on paper or by using a digital prototyping tool and printing it out. The next step involves asking the user to perform a set of tasks by navigating through the physical prototype. It is essential to record both navigation actions performed by the user as well as the thoughts of the user as they contemplate the challenge of accomplishing the assigned task. Ask the user to speak out loud so that you may hear their thoughts as they make decisions throughout the task. The easiest and most efficient way to record all the required information is to use a tripod in concert with a smartphone. This will allow you to both see the physical use of the prototype and to hear the audio of the running commentary. The paper prototype needs to be printed out from the digital prototyping tool, drawing program, or simply created from hand-drawn sketches. A good number of tasks that a paper prototype can be expected to cover is anywhere from 4 to 7 user tasks. Not every aspect of the system needs to be tested or can be tested in the time available. Additionally, for each task, there can be a few different possible right and wrong interactions. It may be a good idea to include both the possible positive and the wrong interactions. The wrong interactions are used to detect any situation where the user may proceed to complete a task in the wrong fashion. One other key point to remember about a paper prototypes is that they are different from the wireframes. The paper prototypes are different than wireframes in the sense that the paper prototypes need to be able to display some data that will be present throughout the test. The system needs to be able to generate some data, as well as the system needs to allow the user to input data as well. A few prototype screens need to be populated with some data for the test. As part of Step 3, we are designing a user test. After the wireframes and paper prototypes have been created, you can design the user test. The user test planning document typically contains at least 5 items: an overview of the test, a description of the goals, a description of the recruitment strategy, the specific task instructions for the users, and a consent form signed by the users. The next section will demonstrate the wireframe creation, prototype creation, and design of a user test process. A detailed user test plan will be shown. The demonstration will be a presentation of Phase 3 of our design project.